Yeah, in this video, I'll be talking about CSS opacity. CSS opacity. Okay. So I will start by creating a HTML basic structure. Then inside the HTML basic structure, I'll use a div. I'll use div to illustrate the opacity to give me what I want. So this is all I have to use. Type in this HTML. Then I will now give this I will give the title under this title. I will link my external CSS. If you don't know how to link external CSS, go and watch my video on CSS Insert to see how to do that. Okay. Now I'm done with HTML, so we will do the whole thing inside CSS. Inside CSS. So let me refresh. Nothing will display yet. Okay, so inside my CSS file, I will say I'll use element selector because we use elements. We have only one element, so I'll use element selector, which is div, div. This div now I will open a declaration block. Inside this declaration block, I will use let me first of all give the width and the height. Let me give it a width of, let me say, 350 pixels. 450 pixels. Okay. Then I'll now give it a height of 350 by 350 pixels, 350 by 350. Okay, then I'll now give it a background color of let me give it a background color of blue. I like blue for this. Blue will be very visible. Let me say blue, not this. Talking about blue. Okay. Let me give it a border so it will look more nice. Let me give it a border. And then I will give it. Let me use let me say 1.5 em solid. Let me use solid and see how it looks like. It looks like, what if I use outsets? Let me see. I just want something that will look nice, more nicer. This one looks nice, but there's but there. Let me use insert and then set it and then give it a color. Let me say insets. Let me see how the, yeah, I think this one makes sense. Then let me give it a color. Let me say black. Let me give it a black color so it will be more visible. Okay, it's not even that visible. The insert is not even visible because black covers everything. What if I use this color? I don't want to waste more time on this color stuff. Let me just put anyone and just be going. Let me just use let me say go. Let me use see this gray and see how it will look like. Yeah, I think this one makes sense. Yeah, this one looks nice. Let me change. Let me use outset and see what it looks like. Outset. Uh, it looks nice a little bit. It looks nice. It looks. But is there anything like dark gray? Let me see anything like dark gray. There's nothing like dark gray. If there's anything, I don't know. So let's leave it at this. Okay. So the next thing I will add is to call the opacity. So the opacity it accepts one parameter. I think, yeah. Let me call the opacity. Inside the opacity, let me give it it accepts only one value here. Okay. Let me give it, if you use one is the default. It will automatically give the image. It will automatically make the image to be what is it called? It will automatically make the image to be uh to be as in, so let me just say one is kind of a default. It doesn't do anything. It means that the image is still there. Okay, just like the opacity is high, kind of the image will be there, no effect on the image. Your element will still be there. Okay, so if you want to reduce the opacity or control the impact of the opacity, we will remove this one and start with 0.1. You can see the effect on the image. 0.1, 0.2, how about 0.3, 0.4? You can see it's becoming more visible. How about 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, you can see how the the effect of the values is affecting the output in the browser. About 0.9, you can see. So 1 is the normal opacity, the full normal opacity. So the 0 from 0.1, how about 0.01? How the effect look like? It will just disappear. How about 0.02? Yeah, yeah, I think you start from 0.0, let me 0.0 something, not 0.0, 0.01. That is where you start, because 0.01 is almost nothing. It's visible. I'm seeing it here, but it's not that visible. So I think starting here is good if you really want it. Okay, so how about 0.06? Yeah, it's becoming more visible. Okay, you can just play with this. Okay, so I just want to add more functionality to this opacity. Let me leave it at let me say let me leave it at let me say 0 point, let me use 0 point, if I say 0.1 now, yeah, let me leave at this. I don't know whether it's visible. It's visible. My own, let me do 0.2. It will be okay. It's faded now. The opacity is reduced. So I want to add some functionality to this display. I will just add a pseudo class. I'll add pseudo class. So to do that, I'll say div colon. I will use hover. 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 Then inside this hover, I'll now open a declaration block. And I will now give it a property. What I want to have, I'll just give it opacity. Once I hover over it, I want the image to come back to full, come back to, I want the opacity to be 1, which is, once I hover over it, let the image be restored to default, to normal. Okay, let's see what happens. You can see that once I remove my mouse, it goes back to opacity 0.2. Once I bring in my mouse, it comes back to default, which is 1, which is the full opacity. What if I want to add it, let it animate small, let it not just do this. I don't like all this automatically, just on and off. I don't like this. I want it to take just do this slowly. So what I will do here, I will just add transition duration. Say transition, let me put colon here first, semicolon here. Okay, let's say transition duration. Here is it. Okay, let me give it let me say 2 seconds to and see what happens. You can see that. So if I bring my mouse on top of this, and you can see the effect. If I remove it, you can see the effect. If I bring it back, you can see the effect. But if I do something like about 0.5 seconds, uh, no, 0.5, not this, 0.5. Let me see. Okay, it makes sense, but the seconds is too fast. It's close to almost what we don't like. Let's leave it at 2.5. Though it will be a little bit slow, but it's manageable. Okay, if we bring our mouse now, you can see the effect. We remove it. If you bring it, you can see the effect. So we call it today for CSS opacity. Okay, nothing much. You can play around with the values of the transition. You can change the values to 0.000 and see the effect. You can start anywhere. Just play around the code, and if you have any question, just drop your question in the comment box. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.